So you finally set out and decided that it's time to buy a new construction home, whether it's for yourself to live in or for an investment. The world is your oyster. There's so many out there to choose from. You can look in all the communities across the Lower Mainland, whether it is Surrey, Vancouver, Burnaby, Coquitlam, they're everywhere. You've got so much choice out there. In fact, in British Columbia, we recorded our second highest year ever in 2022 with over 51,000 new construction properties available. And the year that was number one was 2021, which was just 2,000 units behind that. Out of all those units, there was 9,300 that were detached and the remainder were multifamily or strata properties. So there is tons and tons out there. But today's video is to caution you. If you're thinking of buying new construction, you need to be incredibly careful. And today's video is all about the reasons why. I'm going to give you the very reasons why I stopped recommending that our clients buy new construction property. There's some pretty significant risks involved when doing this, and you definitely want to know about them before you get involved. We're going to jump right into it, and make sure you hang around to the very end, because if you are someone that's looking at buying a property, we've got an incredible PDF that we'll make available to you on 7 tax incentives that are available to you right now to help you keep some of that hard-earned money in your own pocket. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Many buyers out there buy new construction properties because they have a ton of great reasons to really get involved with them. They think that they are more affordable. They've got the pick of the litter. They can choose any unit in a complex that they'd like. Of course, they're brand new as well, which is never a bad thing. We all like having brand new stuff. Oftentimes they think they can put less down, and probably one of the bigger reasons why people get involved in new construction is they think it's a chance to delay their mortgage payments while still participating in a rising real estate market. A property that completes 2 years from now and you buy new construction effectively allows you to get into the market, freeze the price of what you paid for it today, and allow it to grow, all while not having to commit to the monthly mortgage payments. Be honest as well, sometimes the timing is not just right. You might not be ready to buy a home today, but 2 years from now makes a lot of sense, and you've got the down payment available, so giddy up, let's go. So what are the risks involved? What should you really be watching out for if you're thinking of buying a pre-construction build? Jumping right into it, the down payment amounts actually typically are more than what you would do in the resale market. In fact, developers often want, at a minimum, approximately about 10% of a down payment, and we've seen as high as 20% when they are selling pre-construction development. The reason for this is quite simple, is because they use your down payment money oftentimes to help fund the completion of the development, pay their trades, and just kind of keep everything moving. So risk number one is either the market prices fall or the mortgage rates rise. I can't tell you the number of times I've received phone calls from people that have no business looking to buy, let's say, an investment property because really they can't afford it, thinking all they need to do is put down a down payment and they can flip that property down the road 2 years later while still making a significant profit on it. And that's all well and good if the market cooperates, which sometimes it doesn't. Just look back in the most recent times of the last year for anybody that bought pre-construction in early 2022, well, those properties are likely worth much less today than what they paid for them. Not only that, but oftentimes people get involved with multiple properties as an investment, which they're looking to turn a profit on later and flip. They've got no intentions of completing on them. And well, what happens if the mortgage market doesn't cooperate? Today's mortgage rates are almost 3 times higher that of what they were just over a year ago. That means that anybody bought approximately 1 year ago not only is going to be selling these units for less money, but they have no chance likely of being able to complete on them because the mortgage payments are going to be out of this world compared to what they were when they first arranged to buy the property. So what are they going to do? Well, they're either going to have to sell it at a loss, or they're going to lose their deposit to the developer, or even worse, they could find themselves in a lawsuit. And you don't want to be in a lawsuit with the developer. The next risk is what I'm calling false advertising, or at least incorrect advertising, where a developer oftentimes will promote something that's not necessarily going to be the reality when the development completes and you become the homeowner. A phenomenal example of this is advertising of strata fees. And obviously it's a great thing for a developer to say, we're only going to charge X amount per square foot, when you buy in our development. But many times they under budget what they actually will need to help run that strata, therefore leaving you with the bill when it comes time to raise the costs of everything it takes to help that operation function. This isn't just limited to strata fees, however. Oftentimes developers can make tons of promises that they don't actually keep because they're really trying to get you to buy there in the first place. This could come down to the quality and the finishings of the units, the types of amenities that the building or complex might have, and really anything else. So be careful. The third risk is really the unknown of your neighbors and really the community that you're purchasing in. You never know who is going to be your next door neighbor. You never know if the building is going to be completely full of renters when you want a building that is primarily full of homeowners. Not only that, but when you buy a new development, you have no record of how the community is functioning. This means with a resale unit, you would typically have strata documentation where you could go back up to 2 years or even further to see what kind of problems the strata is having. And with the lack of those documents, you're really kind of rolling the dice, hoping you get good neighbors beside, above, below, and that the general population of that complex is going to take really good care of that building. Something to think about. The next risk is side deals that the developer is likely cutting with other home buyers that you have no idea about. Just because they've advertised a price doesn't mean that's what everybody's paying. Many times a developer marketing a property will hold on to a sales price so that previous buyers don't feel like they got ripped off. What those previous buyers don't know, however, is as a developer struggles to sell remaining units, they start cutting deals with would-be home buyers. They can go under the guise of many different names, but oftentimes they go under the guise of a decorating credit or allowance. They might upgrade the air conditioning. They might throw in extra parking stalls, essentially helping these newer buyers get this property for much more value or much less cost than what you originally paid. Don't think that this is a rare thing. This is very common and it happens all the time, and you would never know about it. The last one is really quite significant, and I really want you to pay attention to this. So there's two things that we've been seeing happening over the course of the last couple of years as prices have been skyrocketing. And I'm not talking about real estate prices, I'm talking about the price of labor and the price of construction. So the first part of this is what we've seen in contracts lately, and that is developers tying the cost of construction to something that is called the BCPI, or the Building Construction Price Index, which is essentially a measure of how expensive it is and the associated changes that come up with pricing as a builder constructs a property. As an example, is it 10% more expensive to build a property today than it was just 1 year ago? Well, some of these developers are trying to put a clause into these contracts for new construction home buyers that says if the cost of construction goes up while they're pre-selling the units, your ultimate price point could change. This means, as an example, if you paid $600,000 for a condominium, by the end, when it's time to complete on the property, that condominium could cost you more than what you originally agreed to. If that didn't scare you enough, let's also talk about the developer's ability to flat out and outright cancel your contract. Oftentimes, they're able to do this without any repercussion because those documents that you're signing when you buy new construction with the developer are heavily stacked in their favor, written by their lawyers for the developer's benefit. You may have seen this all over the news coming out of Toronto and Ontario, but what kind of position would you be in as a home buyer if 2 years ago you committed to buy a home and you watch prices go absolutely up through the roof, only to find out that the developer was not intending to complete on the purchase, and you're just going to get your deposit back? You've wasted 2 years of your life waiting for this new home, and very likely over time, the prices of the properties have probably gone up as well. So now you're buying at today's market rates versus what you did 2 years ago. There has been tons and tons of news articles on this, so I'll link a couple below in the description so you can check them out for yourself. These are all some pretty significant risks when you set out to buy pre-construction or new construction housing. That's not even to mention a few of the other things to consider, like the fact that you're going to pay GST on new construction property, which on resale you wouldn't, or the fact that many people buy them without having their own lawyer or realtor review the paperwork to make sure that they know exactly what they're signing. And this is a very scary thing if you're buying directly from a developer. Not only that, how well do you know the developer and the type and quality of work that they've done in the past to ensure that you know exactly what you're buying? So it's for these reasons that we do not recommend buying pre-sale construction anymore. We just think it is a big no-no. And of course, you might be left wondering, well, What's the solution? Lucky for you, I've got an alternative. And that alternative is to participate in buying in the resale market rather than new construction. There's so many more benefits to buying resale. We just think it far outweighs absolutely everything that you get when you buy new construction. So let me give you a couple quick examples. If you're buying a strata type property and you're buying in a resale complex, you're already buying into a very developed community where you get the benefit of knowing exactly what's going on with that community. You have previous information in terms of like strata minutes and whatnot to review, and you've got a really good feel for the types of people that are living there, as well as the types of issues that particular strata might have. And they all have issues. Don't go into any of them, even new construction, thinking they don't. In addition to that, you'd probably really enjoy more assurance in your budget, meaning a more developed strata corporation is going to have a few years behind their belt. And this means that they know what type of money they need to finance and operate the strata community effectively. This also means that any problems that would have happened during the pre-construction process have likely bubbled to the surface already. So you know a lot more about it rather than going in completely blind and just hoping that it all turns out okay. And the last thing I wanted to be sure to bring up, because you might want a new property. Well, you still can buy a newer property. Why not buy something that was built in the last 6 months, the last 12 months, the last 2 years? Namely, anybody that's selling right now that just completed on their home 6, 12 months ago, whatever it might be, probably has a pretty good reason to be selling to begin with. So not only might you get a really good deal on the property, but you also get to benefit from the remainder of the 2-5-10 warranty on that new construction home, as well as you do not have to pay any GST. And GST can be incredibly expensive. Well, it's 5%. So 5% of your purchase price gone out the window like that. Or keep it. I'd rather keep it, especially for any of you investors out there watching right now and you're thinking you want to buy a rental unit. Well, with the recent changes by the BC government, all stratas across British Columbia now have the ability to be rented out. So there's no more bylaw restrictions preventing that. Now that you know the reasons why you might want to avoid buying pre-construction, I'd be interested in what you think. Do you agree with what I've said in this video? Have you been through the landmines of buying new construction in the past, and would you do it again? Let me know in the comments section below. And of course, while you're down there, I promise you access to our PDF about 7 tax incentives that are available to you right now. So there's information below on how to get those, as well as you're anybody looking to buy or sell a home in the marketplace that we serve of Surrey, BC and surrounding areas, and you're feeling a little bit lost about the process, book a time with us below in our calendar, and we'd love to give you some information to help you be more successful. As always, don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss out on any of the great videos we're releasing on a regular basis, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care. Cheers.